Hello and welcome to Wendell's Guide to defeating heroic Tortos as a hunter in Throne of Thunder 25-man. So the main difference between normal and heroic is you now have humming crystals, and basically all these do is you shoot them or attack them, and they will put a debuff on you called Crystal Shell, which basically will absorb heals, and it acts as kind of like an absorb shield, and the more you get healed, the more the shield will absorb up to that amount, and then it goes up to like a maximum amount or whatever, which helps when taking lots of damage. It'll basically negate the damage. So you want to make sure, because there's a lot of stuff in here that deals a lot of damage, so you want to make sure you get those shells on you, and if you don't have one on you, make sure you get one on you. If you're low on health, try to see if you can get healed before game 1, just as a precaution, but if you don't get healed for a while or whatever, just go ahead and get a crystal shell anyways. That's pretty much the only main difference. Your job as a hunter is going to be to most likely MD the bats onto the tank whenever they come down. So you need to make sure you definitely make sure you get the glyph of direction, which is a minor glyph, and that basically allows you to actually chain MDs, so you can MD constantly. Hopefully they don't fix this bug, but make sure you have that. And then whenever you see that the bats are coming down, make sure you can use a macro to target them, but because your macro may end up targeting bats already on the ground, it's usually best to physically target the bats and throw MDs on them to the tank as they're coming down. You may also want to get the talent binding shot, and then whenever the Quake Stomp happens, try to use binding shot around that point so that you can help stun the ads, which will help a little bit with the tank. Other than that, you're just killing the turtles whenever the turtles are up. Make sure you kill the turtles, put some slows down or whatever. But really, this is all about ad control. There's two ways of doing handling the bats as well. One is our way, where basically you empty the bats onto the tank, and the tank kites them around. The other way is you empty the bats onto the tank, and you actually kill the ads as opposed to them being kited around. So there are two different ways. Either way probably won't be that big of a difference for you. So the main thing is that you're MDing them as quickly as you can so that they don't wander off and start killing other players. And while all this is going on, just make sure you're also getting the crystal shells. I actually just made a power aura, which I hope it works. Can't really test it, unfortunately. But I made a power aura so that hopefully I can see when the crystal shell is not on me. So we'll find out next week, hopefully, if it works or not. And yeah, really that's it. Just make sure you're killing the turtles. Avoid the rock stuff whenever it falls on the ground. Make sure you're getting the crystal shell whenever it pops up. And then just MD the bats as they come down. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out a way to actually make it so that the bats it becomes a lot easier to both target the bats and tell when they come down. because with the amount of stuff going on your screen and the amount of stuff that you gotta like look out for, it's pretty hard to actually like make sure you're targeting those bats early, especially the fact that they come down from way up high, so it's hard to visually target them until they're on the ground, which by then it'll be too late to MD them. So if I can find a way to basically make it a lot easier to target those ads, MD them, or figuring out when they actually spawn, because DBM's not, with the amount of stuff going on, like there's just too much stuff that I feel DBM's not really cutting it for that. So if I can find something, I'll try and include it either in a later video or in the description. But until then, just kind of do your best and try to be as rate aware as possible. I was like, just go attack the tank. Definitely need to make sure you have glyph of direction so that you can constantly chain MD. Once the boss is probably around 20% or less, at that point you'll still want to do your best to try and MD the bats that spawn, but essentially you're just going to be attacking the boss. Maybe it's like 15%, something like that. But yeah, you can see we've got just a ton of ads up at this point. We're just like, jeez. And then do your best also to try and like use binding shot as well on the bats. Go look, more bats spawn. But yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot more different than normal. It's mainly just the main difference from normal to heroic, though, is just making sure you get that crystal debuff. So you'll want to make a macro to target humming crystal and shoot it, and then target last target, so that you always have that up. So if it ever falls off, you just use that macro, and then it'll be like, yay! So anyways, hope you found this guide helpful, and thanks for watching.
Good thing we got hunters now. Right? Oh, look at that. More wrist. Alright, keep going. If for some reason you were like a person who didn't get a chance to reforge your junk, I'd say now is a good time.